Good morning, students. Today, as you can see, we're going to be looking at missing numbers. Here's an example question of what you'll be answering. 5 times something equals 20. Today, you'll be looking at how do we work out what that something is? How do we work out this missing number? Here's your learning intention for today. Today, you will practice working out numbers missing from equations. The idea, of course, is to get really quick at this. It is essentially just your multiplication and division facts, but really quickly. Another reason why we know speed doesn't matter in maths, but it does for our multiplication and division tables. Let's get started. Let's check that you know a few things. These are the things you need to know before we head into this lesson. The first question is, what is the inverse operation of division? Write down on your whiteboards. Press pause and do that now. Your question was, what is the inverse operation of division? You've written it on your whiteboards. Let's look at the answer. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. You should have written a multiplication sign or the word multiplication. So now I want you to write the inverse of 6 times 3 equals 18. Maybe you can write both answers. Press pause and do that on your whiteboard now. Your question was, write the inverse of 6 times 3 equals 18. Let's see what you wrote. There were two possible answers. You could have written 18 divided by 3 equals 6, or 18 divided by 6 equals 3. Remembering that division is the inverse of multiplication, and in division we always start with the larger number. They're the things that you need to know for this lesson. Let's get into it now. So, the question is, what do we do when we see this? You could kind of treat this page like a bit of a number talk. Here's your number or your problem, and I want you to try and have a think, well, what would you do to solve this problem? Believe it or not, you already have the skills, and I'm just here to confirm those skills today. That's what this lesson is about. So I want you to press pause and have some thinking time first, and then have a discussion with a partner about what you would do to solve this problem. You've already been given some clues in this lesson, and like I said, you already have the maths to be able to do it. So think carefully about what we've been learning this year, what you've learnt in Year 3 and Year 2 and Year 1 and Prep, and try and work out what process you would go through to solve this problem. Press pause and think, then discuss. Great, how did you go? 5 times what equals 20? Not what is the answer, but how would you solve it? Well, I'm going to take you through a few questions now. I'm going to show you one way that you might solve it, but you might have a different way. So for me, if I was trying to solve 5 times something equals 20, I would use my inverse triangle. So you can see here I've got my 5 times something equals 20. Division and our triangles, the biggest number always goes at the top. Let's remember that. So what I would do is I'd turn it into reverse. I would start with 20 divided by 5, and what does that equal? I know my times tables, 20 divided by 5, the answer is 4. So for me, when I'm trying to work out missing numbers like this, I use this rule. When it's missing, inverse it. Sometimes though, you might just know the times table. 5 times what equals 20? 5 times 4 equals 20. But if you don't, when it's missing, inverse it. Great, let's move into some we do now. So get yourselves ready with your whiteboard and pen, and you're going to be drawing some triangles. So take time to draw a triangle up on your board now, and it would be best not to rub that out, but just to rub the numbers inside. Therefore, make your triangle very large so you don't have to rub out the triangle each time. Press pause and do that now. Here's our first question. We have 14 divided by something equals 7. First of all, we're going to fill in our triangle. You can copy this as I do it. So because 14 is my largest number, and it's the one I'm dividing or separating, I'm going to put it at the top. 14 divided by 14 divided by something, we don't know. So 14 divided by, I might put my something on this side. It doesn't matter which side you put it on. So 14 divided by something equals 7. Now remember my rule, when it's missing, inverse it. So the inverse of division is times. I'm going to turn that around. 7 times something equals 14. Or I could inverse it this way. 14 divided by 7 equals. This is where, if you need to, you might draw 14. And then you might draw your 7 friends. And you might split them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you might see that 14 divided by 7 will give you 2. Or you might have seen already that 7 times what equals 14? 7 times 2 equals 14. Sometimes it's easy like that, but remember, for the harder ones that you don't know and can't do in your head, you've got this triangle to use, and when it's missing, inverse it. Let's rub those numbers out and have another go. So now we have 6 times something equals 18. Well, what I want you to do is fill in the triangle with the 6 and the 18. Don't go ahead and answer it yet. Just fill in the triangle with 6 and the 18. Show me that you know where they go. Press pause and do that now. You are filling in where the 6 and the 18 goes. Let's see if you got it right. 18 being the bigger number, and when we do end up dividing it, that'll be at the top. The 6, it could go here, or it could have gone on this side as well. It doesn't matter. So now we've got a few ways of solving this. We can go 6 times what equals 18, or we could go 18 divided by 6 equals what? I want you to choose your way, and if you need to draw a picture, drawing 18, and then 6 friends that you're splitting those 18 up into. If you need to do that, do that. But what I want you to do is press pause and write down what the something is. The 6 times something equals 18, or the 18 divided by 6 equals something. Press pause and write your answer in. So what did you put? Well, for me, I did the division. 18 divided by 6 equals, and I know that answer is 3. You might have gone 6 times what equals 18, and you might have said 6 times 3 equals 18. Rub those numbers out. Here's your next question. Your next question is 28 divided by what equals 4? Same as last time, I want you to press pause and fill in the triangle. Don't answer it, just fill in the triangle. Press pause and do that now. Great. You would have done the bigger number at the top because that's the number we divide. 28 divided by something equals 4. You could have put your 4 on this side, or you could have put it on this side here. So 28 divided by 4 equals what? Well, now I want you to press pause and solve it. When we start to get these bigger numbers, starting to use a picture method gets a bit hard because we have to draw too many of these. So this is where we really want to know our times tables. This is where you might go 28 divided by 4 equals, or you might go what times 4 equals 28, or 4 times what equals 28. Remember too, if you're really fast, the other way you could do it is a short division. 28 divided by 4. And then you might see how many times the 4 goes into the 2. And then if you have to put 0 and the 2 there, 4 into the 28. It still gives you the same problem, but that is another option available to you. Press pause and solve this one. For me, for this one, I decided to go 4 times what equals 28. And I know my 7 times tables really well, so I know it's 4 times 7. Let's rub out those numbers and move on to your next question. So our next question is 5 times what equals 55? Press pause and fill in your triangle. Great, well you would have filled in your triangle with the biggest number at the top, 55, and then you would have had 5 times something equals 55. I won't give any explanation this time, just remember that doing these pictures is now a bit inefficient. It's too big a number to do a picture with. So solving this another way, press pause and put your missing number in. You would have worked out 5 times 11 is your answer. Rub out those numbers and we'll do a couple more. Now we're going to do 32 divided by what equals 8. I want you to go ahead, fill in the numbers and solve the problem. Press pause and solve the problem. Terrific. You would have put 32 at the top, 8 down the bottom, and you would have worked out that 8 times 4 is your answer. Rub those numbers out and let's move on to the next one. Ooh, it's not the next one. Now we're going to do some rapid fire questions. So these are going to go quickly. You can have your triangle ready, but what I want you to do down the side of your whiteboard is put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to 10. And these questions are going to be quick and fast, and I want you to see how quickly you can do them. I'll give you a moment to get set up. Press pause and do that now. All right, here we go. We will have about 12 seconds for each question. Ready? 3 times what equals 18? 21 divided by what equals 3? 50 divided by what equals 10? 24 divided by what equals 3? 9 times what equals 27? 9 divided by what equals 3? 72 divided by what equals 9? Use a triangle. Two times what equals 50? 4 times what equals 36? 6 times what equals 42? Great job. Was that too fast or was that too slow for you? It's an indication of how much extra work you might need to do on your times tables. Well, we're going to go look at the answers now. When you get to the answers, just check your work, give them a tick or a cross, and then work out whether you got 10, 9, 8, or whatever number you got correct. There's your answers there. Press pause and mark. I can see that this is missing the last couple of questions. So the answers for question 9 was 12 and question 10 was 7. 12 and then 7. Well, now you're going to do some practice of this, and then maybe you can come back and have another go at the rapid fire. Just find it in the video and do it after your practice. I want you to remember to use a triangle drawn on your whiteboard if you need it. There's an example for you. Just remember the rule to, when it's missing, inverse it. Using your maths book, short date and the title Missing Numbers. Answer the questions on the worksheet that's provided. Today, you've been practicing working out numbers from missing equations. The idea is to do this really quickly. Go back to the You Do section in the video, press pause, and use that information to help you do the You Do section of the worksheet. Thanks, boys and girls.